The Heart of a Value and The Wandering Stone. Julian Vance was a successful CEO, but he felt completely exhausted. For a long time, he had struggled to find a balance between his work and his private life. He sat in his sturdy car and looked at the roster of meetings on his tablet that threatened to overwhelm him. Julian did not believe in delegation. He wanted to ensure every detail was perfect, even if he neglected his own rest and health. As he was driving through the village on old cobblestones, a rooster suddenly ran across the road. Julian lost his temper and shouted. He turned the wheel sharply and crashed into a wooden fruit stand. He reached for the brake, but it was too late. Red apples bounced everywhere, filling the gaps between the stones. The damage to the stand was significant. From her pantry nearby, a woman named Arete walked out. She was the owner of the stand. Initially, Julian felt only indifference toward her. He felt remorse only for the scratches on his expensive car. He tried to appease her by immediately offering a thick stack of money as compensation for the damages. His negligence toward her feelings was obvious as he looked at his watch. Arete did not grab the money. She looked at him first with distrust and then with a surprising kindness. She pointed to a large, smooth rock lying on the road among the fruit. "That is a wandering stone," she said quietly. "It is a trigger for change." She warned him that his stress was a heavy burden for his soul, and that true unity with others starts with humility. Julian felt a sudden sense of vulnerability. He realized he had ignored his moral compass for too long. He decided not to yield to his pride and slowly put his wallet away. His ego began to fade, replaced by a new feeling of peace. Arete reached out and handed him an old broom. "Chores are the best way to find the heart of a value," she said with a small smile. While he was working, a thorn from a broken bush pricked his finger, but he didn't stop. After the cleanup, he started to wander through the village with Arete to deliver the remaining apples to the neighbors. They passed a small shop where a stylist was using a comb to fix a customer's hair. Julian realized that the morale of a community depended on these small acts of help. He finally began to see his own strengths and weaknesses clearly. Julian felt deep remorse for his earlier behavior. As they sat down to rest, a single tear appeared in his eye. This new awareness showed him that success without kindness is empty and cold. Arete explained that the true value of things is not found in their price, but in the honest effort we put into them. Julian felt the tension that had weighed on him for years begin to soothe. Julian stayed for the rest of the afternoon to help Arete organize the heavy crates in her pantry. He wanted to prove that he could be useful without his money. He helped her utilize the small space better and even created a new delivery roster for her business. He watched the sunlight bounce off the polished fruit and realized he had finally learned to forgive himself for his past negligence. Before Julian prepared to leave, Arete handed him the wandering stone. "Always keep a cool head," she whispered. Julian thanked her sincerely for the lesson about responsibility. He no longer felt like a man who had to control the entire world. He understood that kindness was the most powerful tool he could ever use in his life or his business. Julian drove his car back to the city, but he was a different man. He began to utilize delegation at work and truly trusted his team. His job no longer consumed his entire soul. On his desk, next to a family photograph, lay the wandering stone. It reminded him every day to keep his moral compass pointing in the right direction. He had found his heart thanks to a simple accident with some apples